Really good to be with you this evening. Allow yourself to really anchor all the way down. If you need a blanket underneath your head, go ahead and grab one so you feel the stability all the way down the spine. Let your knees touch and let the feet go nice and wide. Mine are about the width of the mat right now. I want you to let your back body completely start releasing into the ground. And if you feel like you've been just carrying a heavy load today and just needing to be supported and needing to be held, allow the ground to hold you for the next few moments. You can even rest your hands along your sides so that the shoulders can drop, palms face upwards. If by chance the feet being wide and knees together is not comfortable position, you could try the knees and feet being stacked on one another. And allow the lower back to anchor into ground. And just keep on sinking. And on your next exhale, purposefully exhale and pull the navel to the spine. Big deep breath in. Big open mouth exhale. Squeeze a little bit more out. And again, deep breath in. This time, suspend the breath and just feel the fullness. We're not trying to analyze or judge our experience. We're just holding it, welcoming what is. Exhale, open mouth. Draw your knees in, and as you draw both knees in, just press the knees towards the chest and get a felt sense of the lower back spreading across the floor. If you feel like the back of the pelvis is curling up, see if you can gently press it back down. Feel that mild to great release in the lower back. And notice if practice robs you of your breath. You want to find that balance where you never go so deep into a posture that you lose your breath. We want the breath to be a very steady companion, knowing that the breath is a very safe and neutral place to rest your consciousness. Okay, so from here, start to just very lovingly and gently massage the lower back. We're going to make these little circles here. And other way around. And then spread the knees wide and just draw the knees in towards the shoulders and keep focusing on allowing the lower back to anchor deeply into ground. And notice if you're trying to hold parts of the body. See if you can trust the ground and release into the ground. There's so much that we hold and carry unconsciously, and we're in this practice learning to awaken the body. We're learning to awaken the felt sense of the body. Start to circle the knees, draw the knees in together, out and around. Other way around, please. And then rest the left foot in and hug right knee into chest. And Tuck your chin so the back of the neck stays long. Just see if you can create a little bit more space as you keep hugging right knee into chest. Draw your nose to your knee for a moment, holding it here. And then rest the head back and glide the left leg forward as you keep hugging right knee into chest. You could even circle the right ankle both directions and point and flex. And then hold it here and play with the resistance of the push-pull as you glide out through the left leg and you elongate it and you keep hugging right knee into chest. So you're going to hug both knees back into the chest. Rise up, give yourself a great big hug. And then on your next exhale, you'll rest the right foot down and you'll hug the left knee into chest. We're moving slowly and mindfully, very thoughtfully. As you hug the left knee into chest, feel that little push-pull happening. You want to still feel your lower back spreading across the ground. And your breath is a constant companion, slow and steady, deep and regular. Extend out and down through the right leg. See if you can spiral it in so the second toe points to 12. And then feel how you can keep on lengthening down the right leg as you hug left knee into chest. And can you surrender to what is? Or can you, when you feel into your experience, is there something that you want to exclude? So this practice is all about including. We learn to hold the fullness of our experience. You can even rotate your ankle here in both directions. And up and down. And don't forget, when we slow it down like this, when we breathe long and deep, we remind our bodies that we're safe. Everything's safe. The nervous system starts to move towards more of a parasympathetic response. And this is desirable for good health. Draw both knees in and rise up. Give yourself a great big hug. And as you exhale, release both feet to the ground. Take your right ankle over the left knee. And allow the right knee to go wide. Sense your lower back still anchored to the ground. And take advantage of, many times we're never laying on our back for postures, right? So take advantage right now of this beautiful practice that allows gravity to serve us. It allows us to be held, so you don't have to work as hard. I do practices like this when I'm feeling low energy, if I've not been well, if I've been under a lot of stress, I can slow it down like this. I just want to offer this to you as well, so you can learn how to adjust your practice towards your needs. Draw the legs in. When you do that, let both feet stay flexed and just wrap your arms in your favorite way around the left leg. Let the right knee continue to press out, and I like to even imagine pressing the left foot into a wall ahead of me. Keep melting lower back into ground and enjoy opening that right hip and just lovingly talk to it. Tell it that you're doing this on purpose, that you're trying to create space, and use your breath to soften into the tension that you feel in your body. Good. And as you release, you can kick that leg back, and then you'll take the left over the right. Let the left knee go wide. Have a felt sense of the lower back just melting into the ground, and keep checking. Are you allowing the ground to hold you? Or are you in between unnecessarily creating tension? Draw the legs in. And you'll wrap your arms around the right leg this time. Both feet are flexed. Left knee stays wide. Long, deep breathing. And allow your awareness to sink into that left hip and feel what's there. See if you can hold it without wanting to make it go away or make it soften or make it do what you think it should do. What if you just breathed and lovingly held what is and trusted the perfect timing of your body and its natural intelligence and its natural unfolding? Great. And release. And as you release, widen your feet and gently windshield wipe the knees side to side. And I want to encourage you to stay very curious in your practice. I find curiosity cuts through judgment. That type of open-mindedness allows us to keep discovering and learning from our felt experience. As you come back to the center, we're going to do a little pelvic roll. So what we'll do is we'll lift the right hip up and the left hip up. Then we'll release the right hip down and the left hip down. So it'll be right up, right down, left down. So if you have any question, you can look up here. And it's not really a big movement, but I'm just lifting right hip, and then placing right hip and left hip down. So see if you can make these little circular patterns. So right hip, left hip, left hip down. Take your time. Right hip, left hip, left hip. And then see if you can shift. Does your coordination allow you to do left hip, right hip? Left hip, right hip. And if it's a new movement for you, do you feel awkward and do you lose your breath? So notice how all these unique movements, connecting it with the breath, creates this opportunity for mindfulness, bringing movement and breath together, which becomes the entry point to presence. Are you present right now? Come back and just do some mini pelvic pulses where you lift the hips, okay? And I do not want you to feel any compression in your lower back. So remember, this is not about height, okay? So don't think that you're just like thrusting your pelvis up. I want you to have a felt sense that you're actually really pushing down into your legs. Have a felt sense of inner thigh engagement. Good. And as you lower down and out, draw the knees and come up and hug. Nose to knees. And then release. Let it go. So here, we're going to draw the left knee into chest, okay? And then you're going to take your right heel and see if you can draw it across to the left buttocks. It's like the left sitting bone, so it's a pretty deep stretch. So you'll bring the heel towards the bottom, and then you're going to draw left knee into chest. See if that's working for you. Some of you may need to hold the heel, to keep it there, and then others of you can keep it there on its own. You can focus on using both hands to bring in the left leg. And then get a felt sense of the lower back. See if you can melt it into the ground. So keep holding here and keep letting the lower back surrender to the ground. And notice if the mind has an opinion, and just it's sweet, it's fine. So just tell, hey, beautiful everyday mind, just gonna have you step aside for a little bit, and I'm gonna really drop into presence. And then draw this right knee around and anchor the left foot into ground and come into a half happy baby on the right side. Sink the knee down towards the height of the rib cage and still feeling the lower back being deeply supported in this practice today. And many of you, this is where I would encourage you to stay. However, if you think you can straighten that left leg, this is a wonderful stretch. It can feel really wonderful to play with the opposites here. I imagine that I'm sending that left leg like I'm trying to reach a wall ahead of me. And then I'm pressing the right foot into my hand as I sink the knee down. The lower back anchors into ground. Take one more deep breath in. Exhale and release. Send both legs straight. You can let them fall off the mat for a moment. And now just see how the two sides of your body feel right now down through the pelvis. Can you sense how the right side is dropping? It'll be fun because we'll do the other side and hopefully we'll feel the balance. So draw your knees in again. This time take your left heel towards your right sitting bone, and then you're going to take your right knee in towards your chest. We're not in a rush here. You might immediately feel the difference between the two sides. So adjust your spine so that lower back still lovingly anchors into ground. When something challenging arises in your experience or in your life, see if you can let go of this, idea that many of us have that we've, done something wrong. I operated on that for a very, very long time. And I can still sometimes see it rear its ugly head, like I'm going through this because I've done something wrong. And I think that lurks, I think it lurks in the background for many of us. And we want awareness to be bright and wakeful so it can actually catch when we're spinning these very subtle beliefs in the background, and we want to chop through them. Are you aware of your breath? Are you aware of the sensations in the body? Are you aware of your inner dialogue and the felt sense, your feelings and emotions? The more aware we are of these things, the more we're going to actually start to pick up in our now experience. Go ahead and send the left leg around. You can rock a little bit side to side. Let the right foot touch to the ground and pull gently back through left side. And as you do that, ideally the left knee is sinking down. You could stay right here if you want more intensity and it's open. Send that right leg straight. I like to even look up and see that the second toe is pointing to 12. Notice if you're sinking too deep to the left and you're lifting the right side, like the right hip off the ground. Try not to do that. If there's just no way to straighten that right leg and you're not feeling much, go back and bend the knee on the right side, and it's going to get you more of what you're looking for. Are you still letting yourself receive today? Let the ground hold you. It's nice to practice in this way and totally be working with gravity instead of against gravity. Let it go. Walk your feet back a little bit. And I would love for you to take these little pelvic rolls. So I'm pressing the lower back down, and then it's like I rock the pelvis forward, so I get the arch, and then I press it back down. So just back and forth. And even working with all these different movements and all the unique ways and being mindful to the process, it awakens the relationship to those parts of the body again. Yeah. So, what if this time we drew back with both? Can you take a happy baby here? And the art and the beauty is the receptivity in this practice. This is surrendering, it's the allowing, it's the letting go. And you can feel it in this posture, I'm sure. Like the more you soften, right, the deeper it goes. The more you try to force this, the more you'll feel it all tightening up. Okay, release. How about from there, how would it feel right now to bring the feet together and widen the knees? Sometimes it can be really wonderful to let yourself be supported by letting the knees drop wide. So knees drop wide and feet stay together. Lower back melts into ground. And if the blocks are working and you want more depth at any point, you could just gently release it to open even more. But not to the extent where you feel like your lower back is arching. Can you feel how everything is in balance? Everything is coming from like a neutral space. And have you checked in with your breath? And are you aware of the mind? The mind always wants to interject when we want to have a direct experience. And so we're learning to, in this practice, we're learning to relate very intimately with the felt sense without the conceptual filter always being in between. Okay, help the knees in. Draw your knees in. Roll yourself up. And as you roll yourself up, I think it'd just be nice for us to shift into a downward facing dog. We've been working through the legs in a very supportive way where gravity is helping us. But now we can just see what it feels like through the backside when gravity now is not helping us as much, right? We're working a little bit against gravity. So here, gently push up. And come into this with a curious, exploratory attitude. And although we were, supine and gravity supported us the whole time, can you feel it? Can you feel how at ease this downward facing dog is? It is not like a downward facing dog at the beginning of class at all. And we were able to cultivate this in a very soft, subtle, gentle way. We didn't have to get here with force, right? How's your breath right now? Take a moment and even spread your feet about the width of the mat and continue to hold. Spread your fingers. I went to retreat in December, meditation retreat, and they did yoga in the mornings. I ended up in a yoga class that held, I believe it was a 15 minute downward facing dog. It's very interesting to see all my self-grab that arose in the beginning and some resistance. And then, I opened to curiosity, like, well, let's just see what happens. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. And I started to really drop into the experience and just really surrender. I surprised myself with that, that attitude. It allowed me to be able to stay with it. And it allowed me to examine patterns that arise within myself when I'm pushed to my edge and pushed to try something which my mind would say is outrageous. We're not going to hold downward facing dog for 15 minutes, by the way, today. Are you breathing? Okay. Touch the knees to the floor, and I want you to surrender back into child's pose. Let your forehead bow. Go ahead and keep the elbows off the ground and let your hips sink back towards your heels. Long, deep breaths. As you're breathing in child's pose, how much detail of breath do you take in? Is it like this mechanical process, or are you checked out and thinking about something else? Or do you feel the breath like an ocean wave? Do you feel it mainly in your low belly, or do you feel it in the ribs or the high chest? Just get really curious about it. And as you get curious, more reveals itself to you. Take another deep breath in. Exhale fully. And then gently rise out of that pose. And you might enjoy placing your hips onto a little bit of leverage here. And bring the feet together like we did when we were on our backs. Allow yourself to be nice and tall. And from that space, let's bow forward. And remember, it's not about a destination. It's about deeply attuning, deeply listening, and being with. And allow every breath to be like a measure of loving kindness to this incredible body that supports us on a daily basis, and gosh, oftentimes gets abused by us, by the foods we put into it, or the workload we take on, or inability to put ourselves to bed. So if it feels right for you, tell your body you love your body, and that you're going to make choices that support its well-being. Yeah. Gently rise out. And as you rise up, go ahead and take the left leg behind. I tend to like to put the right foot in. I like to feel the kind of locking in here. And some people, it may not touch, and that's fine too. So you'll find what works for you. I tend to like to kind of push it in, and I feel like it can ground to grow. Inhale, reach the arms up over the head. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, reach down. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, easy twist. Take the twist to your right. And see if the twist is open from the work that we did on our backs. See if the hips feel open here from the work we did supine. All with a sense of curiosity. Good. Inhale, ground to grow. Exhale. We could even bow forward, and that bow could be mini bow where you take your arms out and just see how far you can extend. Inhale, lifting the heart center. Exhaling, bowing. Inhaling, lifting, open-hearted. Exhale, bow. Inhale one more time. Exhale, bow. And then inhale, rising up, and then just see if you can transition to the other side. You don't have to be in a hurry. And if something doesn't feel right, we can shift it. Don't be afraid to make it your own. I think our ability to, stand within ourselves grows with this practice. Like to know what is right for us. Like, do you succumb to peer pressure? You know what I mean? Like if everybody is like saying, oh, you need to do this, but you are attuned and you can feel like, no, like, can you hold your ground, right? It's not always easy. And so even when we're practicing, I really want to encourage you, even if I'm guiding, it's tough right now too on video, right? Even when I'm guiding you and inviting you to do things, if it doesn't align, I want you to listen to your body because your body is the teacher. So we'll scoop up and we'll exhale. And we'll scoop up and we'll exhale. We'll scoop up, and if your foot's there in the inner thigh, yeah, feel it, press in, and then take the twist to the left. How's that feel? And there should be no compression in the lower back. For me, I'm careful to have a nice ground line, and then I've actually lifted this hip. So it's got a nice turn to it. And it's kind of going with the flow to make sure there's no compression. How's that feel? Great. Okay. Coming back to the center, we can walk it forward nice and slow. Big deep breath in. Deep breath out. Inhale, you can lift the heart center, sitting bones back. Exhale, lengthen and release, yeah? Inhale, exhale. Inhale. Last time, exhale. And then inhale, rising up, and then bring the leg around. Find your easy seat, and your easy seat could look totally different. It could be in a chair, it could be kneeling, it could be lying down posture. Take a few circles here. Notice through today's practice as we move slowly and mindfully, with an emphasis on really dropping into our experience, has the mind kind of slowed down, and maybe not the whole time, but has it lost some of its momentum? Has it shifted since we started the other way around? Good. Okay. Coming back to the center, we're going to tuck you under, and then we're going to inhale forward. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then inhale, roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Other way around. Drop the shoulders, look to one side, look to the other side, just sweeping your chin side to side. And then come back to the center. And just be. And yogi's choice for the last few minutes, you could stay in a meditative posture. Otherwise, I'd like for you to try a belly down Shavasana. So if you're coming into Shavasana, come onto your bellies. It's a beautiful, beautiful type of Shavasana. I was taught to do belly Shavasana anytime I'm feeling overwhelmed, fear. I can just sense I'm just holding so much. So just let yourself sink. And as you're lying there, see if you're in tune with the felt sense of the body, and see if you're holding your belly. See if you can soften belly into ground. Sometimes I don't even realize how much I'm actually holding in my belly. Take a really, really deep breath in. Nice cleansing exhale. And take a nice tall seat. And notice if working with the ground in the way that we did today, how was that for you? Rub your hands together. And press the hands. May this practice today be a reminder to work with what is, to allow ourselves to be receptive and to let go and surrender and receive. May this practice remind us to kind of flow with life, the ebb and flow of our own bodies and rhythms, and bring you a very peaceful evening. Peace to all, light to all, love to all. Namaste.